everybody? Lord Tremendous here. Got a battle report here for you. Battle report number 41. 'Tis I, Lord Tremendous of the Ogre Cons, versus the Beardless Beardling of the Dwarven Holds. I have a pretty well changed list in this one, and I'm playing against the Dwarven Hold opponent that I haven't played in a while. Actually, he's just been busy with other things. But I got to the store. He threw a gauntlet in my face and said, "Come at me, bro!" And so I did. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this one goes. Here's my list, and like I said, I've made some changes, some more drastic than others. I still, of course, have my Lord, my great shaman, Skaven and AZ, or Skaz, as I affectionately refer to him. He is my general. He is a level 4 wizard. I gave him the Demon Heart, and he uses the Path of Butchery. With version 1.2 coming out, Path of Butchery is going to be gone. I don't know what it's going to be replaced with. I have no idea. So I figured instead of Heavens, I'd go to Path of Butchery just to give it a shot, give it one more last hoorah before the end of the month when it's no longer a viable path. I also made him completely naked because Skaz likes to die on me because he's as loyal as a vermin swarm should be. So in order to compensate for that, I'm trying to keep him out of combat, and therefore he does not require anything other than a demonic heart because it's the best arcane item in the game. Next up, I have my hero choices, and of course I still have my Khan. He's my BSB. I gave him the Sword of Strength, gave him the Mithril Mail, and of course I gave him the Talisman of Lesser Shielding. I was trying to fit Spine Splitter on him, but I just don't have 20 points, and you'll see why as I go through the list. But the Sword of Strength is so that at Strength 6 he's still very viable, and he gets to use his Initiative, which I believe is a 3 or a 4, which with Rufus running around and stuff like that, I would like to be able to use his Initiative as opposed to a great weapon. Sword of Strength works on him too. Next up, of course, I have my Mammoth Hunter, Lord Tremendous. He's got a hunting spear, he's got the flaming lance, he's got the lucky shield, he's got the charm of cursed iron, and it's all because he's on his Rock-a-Rock, the Elf Eater. Granted, he hasn't eaten any elves yet, but I just like the name, so that's what I'm going to name my Rock-a-Rock. Of course, I have him on this because, honestly, I just like having the big, nasty monsters on the table. No other reason than that. And I gave him the Flaming Lance so that he was Strength 7 on the charge. Because, really, the Rock-a-Rock, if you're not charging with him, he's dead. He's wasted points. So I need to charge with him, and if I need to charge with him, I might as well give him a big Flaming Lance to shove down your throat, right? The Lucky Shield will bounce one shot off of him, hopefully a cannonball, most likely just an arrow, and of course the Charm of Cursed Iron gives him the ability to have a 5-up ward against any incoming artillery shots. So it's better than nothing, and it'll help him get into combat, which is where he really shines. Next up, I have my other Mammoth Hunter, the model formerly known as Lord Tremendous. That is not his name, I'm just having fun. He's got his Ogre Crossbow. I gave him the Razor Blade, the Hardened Shield, the Talisman of Greater Shielding, the Aurochs Charm, or the Aurochs Charm, Headhunter, and he's still on his Tusker, the War Teddy. I gave him the Razor Blade and the Hardened Shield, well, to give him a 2-up armor. I gave him the Razor Blade just so he had magical attacks, and he's better at cracking armor. Strength 5 is still pretty good. And then, of course, the Aurochs Charm, so that basically I wanted to give my opponent as many targets with his cannons and multi-wound doing things, units, army, whatever, as possible that can deflect it and stop it or absorb it. So that's why he's currently kitted out the way he is. And Headhunter for just survivability. Here's one of the bigger changes. For my core choices, I start off with a unit of 12 tribesmen, the good old boys with full command and iron fists. Honestly, I just wanted another big target for shooting and everything like that, and tribesmen in a big old unit seemed like a good idea, so I wanted to give it a shot. Plus, doesn't that just look cool? I think it looks cool. Then I have a unit of 5 tribesmen, Skaz's Spazzes, with Banner, Musician, and Iron Fist, and the Banner of Discipline. He goes in here, and he stays the hell out of the fight unless he absolutely needs to, or it's just such a one-sided fight that he can't die from it. I'm sure he'll find a way to still die, but damn it, this just seems like a safer bunker for him to be in. And then I have a unit of 15 Scraplings, the Cheapskates, with a banner and short bows. Starting off my special choices, I have a Saber-toothed Tiger, or Bow Wowzer as I like to refer to him. Then I have a unit of 6 Scrapling Trappers, my favored pets. And then I have a unit of 5 mercenary veterans, the corpulent bastards, with Banner, Musician, Iron Fist, Lethal Strike, Bodyguard, and they have the War Standard. Yeah, their banner got downgraded a little bit because I needed points. But the War Standard should work just fine. For my rare choices, I have the Thunder Cannon of Doom! And then, of course, I've got the mammoth, the myth, the legend, my frost mammoth, Rufus. He's got a couple of ogre crossbows and a guy he tows around, but he's the real star of the show. I absolutely love this beast. But anyway, that's going to do it for my list. I hope you're as excited to see how it does as I am. I'm going to post my opponent's list, play some music. Feel free to pause it whenever you like to see what he took. Here are my spells, for which are exactly what you're looking at. I know it's hard to see. I've got Blizzard, which is on Rufus, and the second seal, because apparently when you cast a bounce spell, you get the lore attribute as well, for now. And say goodbye to those cards, because in about a month, they're going to all be obsolete. And here's deployment. So, as you can see, I'm super excited and possibly stupid and threw everything in the middle. Honestly, I know dwarves are solid in close combat, so I wanted to be solid in close combat. I've got my Merc Vets with my BSB on the left there, right behind them, in the center there. Right behind them is Rufus. I've got Lord Tremendous on his Rock proxy right there, dead center, because I want to get him in the combat, otherwise he's not doing me any good. I've got Bow Wowzer kind of in the middle to redirect one of those big horde bricks so I can concentrate fire on one. I've got my big unit of 12 tribesmen, the good old boys on the right. Right behind them is Skaz and his Spazzes. Hopefully Skaz survives. We'll see. I've got my 6 trappers in the ruined house in the middle of the board right there. And then on the left side, I've got my Scraplings providing a screen for my Thunder Cannon of Doom. And the model formerly known as Lord Tremendous on the left side there, his job is to get into those damn handgunners before it's too late. I need those guys dead. Between them and that organ gun on the hill there, right behind the big unit of Kingsguard, I think, that's the 2 biggest threats on the table. If I don't take those out, this game is over. Next to on his stuff though, on left to right, he's got a Vengeance Seeker, I think. Right next to him is a bunch of handgunners. Right next to them is the Kingsguard with his king on shield bearers. Behind them is an organ gun, a master engineer, and a catapult. And then of course to the right there is his Anvil of Power. Right next to them is his Greybeards with his BSB and his Rune Priest, I think it is in there. And then there's another, there's the Steam Bomber behind them, and those things are flippin' amazing. And then on the very far right there, on his right, or our right anyway, is another Vengeance Seeker. So I've got my work cut out for me. Here's top of 1 after movement, and he comes trundling forward, which actually surprised me for dwarves. On the right side, his Steamcopter goes after my trappers, just stops right outside the room so he doesn't have to take any DT checks. Good call. His Vengeance Seeker, his Greybeards, and his Kingsguard all move up more or less as fast as they can go. The Kingsguard, I think, just held back an inch. Excuse me, his handgunners did move up just so they'd be in range. His other Vengeance Seeker moved up. He's right near the water hazard. And needless to say, his War Machines and his Anvil didn't move at all, because that would have been silly. But that's pretty much it for movement. during his magic phase, he gets like distracting and soft cover on his Greybeard unit, and that was it. So we go into shooting, and his organ gun fires into my mercs and does 4 wounds because that thing is super dangerous. And then his catapult tries to hit my good old boys, and it would have been a direct hit, but he misfired with it, so can't say I'm upset about that. The resulting misfire of his catapult is a 5. He takes a wound with no saves of any kind allowed, and the shot is discarded. I'll take it. I'll take it because now it's 1/3 of the way out of the game. And then his handgunners open up at my Merc Vets again because he knows what a threat is and murders another one. Absolutely astounding. So yeah, 2 Merc Vets go down in 1 shooting phase. I take my panic check and pass, but damn it, he's just chewing me up. So bleeding a bit from my upper torso, we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement, and I come forward. My Mammoth Hunter on a Tusker tries to charge the Vengeance Seeker over by the water, and I fail. I just rolled like poop. What can you do? I was really hoping to hit him and then overrun into the handgunners, or at least be right on top of the handgunners. Yeah, they'd shoot me, but hopefully I'd be able to kill them. That would be glorious. Unfortunately, I fail a charge and end up way back there. Really sucked. My Scraplings move up just to shoot at the Vengeance Seeker. Maybe I'll get lucky. My Merc Vets, everything else in the middle moves up. I was just afraid to move up too far because I didn't want to be countercharged, or I didn't want to be charged. I wanted to charge him. And so I moved up where I thought I could make the charges. Just, it was hard. It was a balancing act, okay? And I panicked. My trappers stay still because they survived last round shooting, so hopefully they can do that again and maybe even take a couple of wounds off the Steam Bomber if I'm really lucky. But yeah, that's really it for movement. There's a better picture of this guy failing a charge against him, and I needed a 9 and I rolled an 8, so I only missed it by an inch, but man, story of my life. During the magic phase, I get Toothcracker off, the aura one. I throw 3 dice at it, and I roll like 3 6s. It was insane. My opponent let it go because he could care less. I only had like a 6 dice magic phase, so I end up rolling a miscast 8, which sucks. However, considering my toughness is now 7, the strength 5 hit doesn't do any wounds, and it just ends my magic phase. And then we go into shooting, and the Cannon of Doom fires at the catapult, hits, wounds, and blows it the hell up. The surrounding panic checks are passed. They're dwarves and aren't going anywhere. But that was huge. I would have shot at the organ gun, but it's entrenched, so I can't hit the damn thing. And I couldn't get the angle where I could hit both. My opponent's not that stupid. But I took out one of his war machines. I feel pretty good about that. So here we go over here into top of 2 after movement, and it's been super effective. His steam copter flies over my trappers and drops 10 bombs on him. The max he can drop without having to worry about reloads. So kills all my trappers, which sucks, but he rolled a 5. What can you do? The rest of his the rest of his infantry guys back up. They don't come forward anymore, they back up. Yeah, he played me like a piano. And, yeah, what can you do? His Vengeance Seeker jumps up into the terrain and takes a point of damage for dangerous terrain. The Steam Bomber takes a point for dangerous terrain. And, yeah, the other Vengeance Seeker runs up in front of the Mammoth Hunter on the War Teddy, and that's it. It's just painful how much better he's playing than me. There's a better picture of his Steam Bomber doing what it's supposed to do and obliterating all of my trappers. Super painful. Nothing happens in the magic phase, so we go into shooting, and his handgunners do, 5 wounds to my mercs? I mean, holy crap, he was rolling out of the box. They were just long range, I get that. Oh my god, killing 2 of them? These laser-guided guns. We're going to have to do something about that. Oh, and then his organ gun fires and kills another guy and does some wounds. So I've got a standard bearer Merc Vet left with 1 wound and my BSB who's hanging on by faith. This is painful. This is really painful. My Merc Vets and my BSB are probably not going to see combat this game. So we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and I charge. I just don't charge well. The guy on the Tusker, he goes and charges the Vengeance Seeker because I have to, or I sacrifice my damn cannon. And then my Merc-Vets and my Rock charge that unit of Kingsguard, but they've got that banner that you deduct your charge by d6 inches. And of course it stopped both their charges, which I thought maybe I'd be okay here because I knew his Kingsguard were going to charge my BSB and my Merc-Vets in his turn. I would flee with them, and as long as Rufus didn't break, which he should be okay, he's got a 9, the General's right there, I'd be able to countercharge with Lord Tremendous, Rufus, and possibly even my good old boys in their flank, depending on how far they overran. That was the hope. That was what I was thinking when I failed these charges. The good old boys did move up a little bit. I think they tried to charge the Greybeards and failed. It was a longer charge, and it was a gamble, but why not? And that was really it for movement. Nothing else really. Skaz and the Spazzes turned to the right, just to try to magic the steam copter or steam bomber anyway. And really that's it. There's been a picture of Merc-Vets, BSB, and Lord Tremendous failing to charge, as well as the good old boys. And then we go into combat, and I'm only able to do 2 wounds at this damn guy. He was making his ward saves like it was a 1-up rerollable. He actually ends up doing a wound back to me. I do 2 wounds to him. I win this combat. He's unbreakable and sticks me there. Oh my god. So I guess it's a bonus because now he's not going to get shot at, but it's also a huge negative because I was kind of hoping to be able to get around and charge into the handgunners. What can you do? So we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and here's where it just keeps getting better for the stunties, okay? So I implement my plan. His Kingsguard charge my Merc-Vets. I'm like, hell no, I don't want you to get my Merc-Vets. So they flee, and they get away. They were like 11 inches. It was astounding. It was great. It was wonderful. It was everything I wanted it to be. So he redirects into Rufus. He was 13 inches away from Rufus. He needed a 10 to hit Rufus. And you don't have to be a mathematician to know he rolled a 10. Oh, damn it. Rufus did stand and shoot, and he missed. But, yeah, he's got a whole platoon of Kingsguard as well as a Dwarven King in all his glory. In this, Rufus is a dead man. Because these are the fastest dwarves in the history of Dwarvenkind. Oh, man. His Greybeard's back up. His handgunners stay still. His, what's it called? Other Vengeance Seeker moves in front of the good old boys. His Steam Bomber flies over the good old boys and back and drops one with bombs because he rolls another 10 flippin' bombs. It's, everything's turning out dwarf, and all I can do is enjoy the ride. That's it for movement. Yay! So here's a picture that Dwarven gods exist. There's my Merc-Vet and my BSB fleeing from the Kingsguard, and them making their redirected charge of 13 flippin' inches, the short little stunty legs, right into Rufus. Oh! This picture's hard to look at. And I just so that you know, and you can see it, if you notice, when they kill Rufus and overrun, they're going to slam into Lord Tremendous. Oh, man. I have no words. I have no words. And there's a better picture of his Steam Bomber dropping one of my tribesmen, which sucks. Also, if you look at his Vengeance Seeker, which is right in front of the good old boys, he did take another wound when he came out of the dangerous terrain. So the trappers in spirit are getting their revenge. Nothing really happens during his magic phase, so we go into shooting, and his organ gun opens up on the good old boys, taking out another guy. I think he does I know he does at least 3 wounds. It might have been 4, but takes out another good old boy, and, well, that's why there's so many of them, I guess. So we go into combat, and Rufus puts up a hell of a fight. We take out about 5 or 6 of these bastards. Unfortunately, in return, they take out Rufus. They just straight up murder him, and that sucks. Just as we all knew they would do, the Kingsguard overruns and slams into the flank of Lord Tremendous. Oh, I'm gonna get tabled by 1 unit. It's amazing. But you know what? I'm laughing the whole time. This is incredible. Then, of course, my scraplings have had enough. They couldn't believe Rufus died. They went fleeing through the combat over here. A couple of them had to take DT checks, and one of them died as the Vengeance Seeker took off a target opportunity. And I'm going to let you know right now, these guys never rally. They flee off the table next turn. I roll an 11, which is enough to take them off the table. I'm not even mad. I can't blame them for fleeing. And over here, we go into combat, and I'm able to finish off the little Dwarven Vengeance Seeker. Headhunter heals his wound, and then I turn to face the Kingsguard because I've got to send him in there to try to save Lord Tremendous, because otherwise he's a corpse. So here we are at bottom of 3 after movement, and I send in the Mammoth Hunter on a Tusker into the rear of the Kingsguard and make it. The good old boys charge into the Vengeance Seeker and make it, because he's an inch away. And then Skaz and his Spazzes are able to charge past the good old boys into the Steam Bomber and take that thing out before he can do any other damage. I may not win this game, but I'm going to try to kill as many of the dwarves as possible before the end of the game. And this is just one step closer. Also, my Mercvet and my BSB, yeah, they roll a 10 and keep fleeing. They're not off the table yet, but it's not looking good. There's been a picture of all the combats happening on this part of the table. During the magic phase, I get Aura Strength off, which is great. It's going to hit all those units, making them a lot stronger, which is good because dwarves have armor. And then I throw 5 dice at regen on Lord Tremendous because I need to try to make him survive as long as possible. He's already taken a wound from shooting earlier. I just forgot to mention it. But I roll 5 dice, and the gamble was I knew I was going to miscast. I just knew. I could feel it. You know, you play long enough, you know when your dice are gonna screw you. But I felt that the odds of me rolling a 2 or between a 2 and a 4 were pretty low. So I roll, the 5 dice. I get regen. It is irresistible, or it's not. It is overwhelming power. It does go off, and now Lord Tremendous has regen 4 up, which is huge. The resultant mother effing miscast is a godforsaken 3. Skaven AC, you did this to me. So Skaven explodes, and the gore and bone shards fly into the tribesmen. They hit the steam bomber. They hit the spazzes. Oh my God! Skaz, you always have to die. Why? There's not even any vermin on the table, and Skaz explodes himself. He kills off a good old boy and leaves one guy circling the drain, kills off a spaz and hurts another, does a wound to the steam copter, and then takes his rightful place in oblivion. Damn it, Skaz. So we go into combat, and it actually goes pretty good over here. I'm able to destroy the steam bomber without taking any damage, and then I just turn to face this direction because I can't charge through the ruins right now. I'll take too many DT checks. And then combat over here, the good old boys are able to take out the Vengeance Seeker, which is exactly what they were supposed to do, and I feel pretty good about that. So then we go into combat over here, and as you can see, it did not go well. So Lord Tremendous issues a challenge. My opponent refuses it. He's like, oh, hell no, I'm not taking that challenge. So his general doesn't fight. So the rest of his army fights. Okay, so the Mammoth Hunter on a Tusker does amazing and obliterates like 8 guys all by himself. Just an amazing amount of damage, right? He takes a couple of wounds for his trouble, which is fine. And then Lord Tremendous, before he can attack, or he does his attacks and he does a bunch of damage. The what's it called? The Rock does a ton of damage. So as you can see, the unit itself has really beat the hell. So I'm thrilled. I'm like, this is excellent. And then they do 5 wounds to Tremendous, who has a 4-up regen against it. And as you can see from the dice, I didn't roll higher than a 2. On 5 dice, I didn't roll higher than a 2. The Dwarven gods are real, and they flippin' hate me. So Tremendous dies. Because I couldn't make one 5-up flip or a 4-up flippin' regen save on 5 dice. Can you believe it? I can't. I'm still in shock, and I was there. So in the grand scheme, when all the math is done, I actually win this combat by 1. It doesn't matter. They're stubborn. But he rolls a 12. He rolls a 12, and they break. And then the Mammoth Hunter on a Tusker, he rolls boxcars to chase him and runs them down. The King's Guard and the Dwarven King is dead. This game is just getting wilder and wilder the more we go. So I won that fight, I guess? I don't know. So here we are in top of 4 after movement, and both of us are like, what the hell's going on? So his Greybeards charge Bow Wowser, and I thought about fleeing, but then I thought, you know what, he just made a 10 to charge Rufus. He's going to easily roll a 9 to hit my good old boys, and I was right. He rolled an 11 to hit Bow Wowser. So he hits Bow Wowser, who stood. His handgunners move in such a way that they can shoot at whatever the hell they want. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do about him now. Everything's so out of place. And that's really it. Everything else he has is either a war machine or dead. Nothing really worth talking about happens in Magic, so we go into shooting, and his handgunners are able to shoot and kill one of the good old boys. Oh, I'm sorry. They shoot and kill 2 of the good old boys. That's what happens. So, yeah. 2 more of my guys die to Dwarven ranged accuracy. And then his organ gun fires and kills 3 of my tribesmen. I lose 5 tribesmen in 1 round of shooting. It's insane. My opponent is rolling so far out of the box, there might as well not even be one anymore. It was an honor to watch. It was very impressive. And then we go to comment over here, and the dog dies a horrible, stinking death. So, at least he bought me a turn. So with that, we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and I'm desperate. I have no other options. I'm running out of units, so I charge. Both units of tribesmen that I still have left charge and hit the Greybeards, and all I can do is hope. The Mammoth Hunter on a Tusker goes right over towards the handgunners. They're either going to kill me or I'm going to charge them next turn. There is no third option. Yeah, I guess there's 2 options. So there's no third option. And then, of course, the Thunder Cannon of Doom! He moves so that he has an angle where he can hit both the Master Engineer and the organ gun. If I'm lucky, which I have not been too much this game, I can kill the engineer, I can kill the organ gun, and maybe even tap into the, Anvil of Doom, or Power, or whatever it is, but we'll see. It's just, I'm grabbing at straws because I don't see me winning this game. There's been a picture of my desperation manifesting in a piss-poor conceived charge. I have no magic and my shooting misses, so we go into combat, and my tribesmen forgot to show up to the fight. As you can see, 2 good old boys go face down into the dirt, a spaz gets his face crushed, and in return, I kill about 5 or 6 guys. It's super painful. I lose this combat by like 34, I'm not sure, but it's enough both units break. My opponent pursues the good old boys, who they run down no problem. The good old boys ran a solid 4 inches, so good for them. Skaz and Spaz, on the other hand, are pros at running away, and they rolled a solid 10 and got that far. So they got away. That's something. I just don't know if they're going to rally. And then, just when you thought the news couldn't get any worse, the Mammoth Hunter, formerly known as Lord Tremendous, panics. And flees. And that's where he ends up. So, beautiful flank shooting for my opponent next round. So with that, here's top of 5 after movement, and there's basically none. Well, that's not entirely true. His Greybeards charge Skaz's Spazzes, and we flee, and we get away. And that's it. Everything else just reloads and starts taking aim at what little I have left on the table. There's a picture of Skaz's Spazzes doing wind sprints away from the scary, scary dwarves. During the shooting phase, because there's nothing we're talking about in Magic, his organ gun opens up on the Mammoth Hunter on a Tusker that's currently fleeing, and he just does a ton of wounds to me. Or he does a ton of hits, and he gets 4 wounds, right? So I have a 2-up, which becomes a 5-up against this thing. So I have a 5-up, 5-up, and he's done 4 wounds. I save 2, which means he's dead. Par for the course. I'm okay with it. And then the handgunners that can see fire away at my cannon and are able to slip a wound through on them, because why not? So with that, we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement, and my spazzes rally, and my cannon moves in such a way that he can try, once again, to kill the Master Engineer and possibly the organ gun. That is it for movement. During the shooting phase, my cannon is able to actually hit his Master Engineer, but I roll a 1 and only do 2 damn wounds to this thing. So, yeah, I get nothing at all, because he's at 33%. So I get the knowledge that this guy took a cannonball to the head and is probably going to stutter for the rest of his life. Other than that, though, there's just nothing I'm going to be able to do. So, with that, here's top of 6 after movement. The Greybeards charge the spazzes. I thought about fleeing, but then I thought, you know what, he's earned it. He's going to get it. So I stand. He makes it no problem, because these are the fastest dwarves on the planet. And that's it. The handgunners don't move. The organ gun doesn't move. Nothing really needs to move. That's it for movement. We go into shooting, and his organ gun, the God's blessed thing that it is, shoots and destroys my cannon. Just blows it to pieces. Does 5 more wounds to it, which is exactly what he needed to do in order to destroy it. And, well, actually, I think he was 1 more than he needed. But either way, it's dead, and I'm sad. Then we go into combat, and it goes about as well as you'd imagine. He almost kills me to a man. He leaves 1 spaz with 1 wound left. I do a little bit of damage to him. It's not impressive. He wins this combat. I break, and he runs me down, effectively tabling me like a champion. And if you look, see those 2 dice right there? That's how far I ran. That guy was so not motivated to live. So there it is. There's the end of the game. As you can see, there are no ogres left, and there's still a decent amount of dwarves. He's got his Greybeards, he's got his BSB, he's got his Rune Priest, he's got his Master Engineer, an organ gun, and an anvil, and his gunners. I did kill some of them. They're going to need a new king after this, because I promise you, I did not let him survive. There's no way he's coming back as some weird crooked hero. He's a dead man. But, I guess dead men tell no tales, so it's really up to the dwarves on this part. We'll get right into the recap, because God knows this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So, needless to say, this was an epic defeat for Lord Tremendous. My opponent tabled me in the top of turn 6, just curb stomped me. And he did it like a champion, so I can't really be mad. I lost everything. EVERYTHINJ. Yeah. Everything. Holy crap. So much went wrong for me in this game. So much. Skaz blows himself up. You know what? I'm actually okay with that, mostly. I always expect him to die. God, I just needed him to be a hero once, and he decided to be a 0. I gotta quit expecting so much out of him. Oh, those charges that I failed, they were critical, and to fail those the way I did was just murder. And then, of course, the 10+ roll in order to hit Rufus with the redirect was just painful. Unbelievably outplayed by my opponent, and I can't even be mad. I'm too busy being impressed. Many things were incredibly devastating in this game, to say the least. His laser-guided shooting was devastating. That organ gun killed 45% of my army by itself. Those things are amazing. This counter-charging was devastating. Not only my Mammoth Hunter into the rear of his King Guard, but everything that he charged, it was just beating the crap out of me. Missing 5 4+ regen rolls with Lord Tremendous was devastating. Losing that many points of kick-ass in that way just hurts. And the fact that my opponent was just simply amazing was devastating. This, of course, was an incredible opponent. This was an incredibly devastating game, and I desperately want a rematch. I can't wait. I'm actually looking forward to facing off against the Dwarves again, because this game was very one-sided, and it wasn't anything. I'd love to blame my dice. It really wasn't. My opponent just simply played his army better than me, and I want a chance to redeem myself. So next time he's ready for a game, I'm eager to play him again. Real quick, just want to take a time out to say thank you to everybody that supports me financially through PayPal, Patreon, and other means. These are the individuals that allow me to thank them properly on my Battle Report channel. Some of my donators want to remain anonymous, and I have to respect that, and I do. But these are the individuals that allow me to thank them the way I would like to. And so Alex of the Vale Renegades, South Florida's Gamermancy team, and Daniel Jolson. Thank you guys very, very much. I appreciate it, and I hope I continue to be worthy of all your donations. But that's going to do it for this one, guys and gals. Battle Report number 41 is officially in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comments section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks!